Okay, so this is the Drake Forge devlog for the pre-alpha version 0.0.6393. And as you can see, we've made several changes. We now have buttons here for your Discord, so you can join the Discord directly from being in-game. We also have a link to YouTube, in case you guys want to go to that. Clicking on these will take you out of Drake Forge, and it will take you to whatever your internet browser is. Some of the other things that we've done are over here on the side. We've added the ability to swim to the movement system, so no more falling into the ocean. We also added the alignment system. We added the UI, and you can use the L key to open and close it. We don't have it in the main menu yet, but we're still working on that. As long as it's opening and closing, it'll at least give us a chance to test it. So this will be for keeping track of all of the interactions that a player has with an NPC. So you'll be able to go talk to any NPC, and it will automatically add it to your alignment log. It'll also break down the towns and factions and add those to your alignment log as well. Alrighty. And the features that are planned that are still not implemented yet are the settlement system. There's a very small amount of it done, but it's still being worked on. Spell interactions and the spell system. The spell system is functional, but we still have to make the interactions, so that way when you have one spell that lands, like we'll say a fireball, right? The fireball lands, it leaves behind a burning effect on the square. If you hit it with water, it'll remove that burning effect and push it away and give a steam tile for a few turns. All right, so we'll go ahead and go in. So this is going to be the starter map that we're working on. There's not a whole lot done here. So we'll go ahead and showcase the swimming. The swimming is not perfect yet. There's still a few little bugs like this one right here. But for the most part, it works. And if you look closely, because I didn't leave the amplitude very high, your player character moves with the waves. So as you swim, you will move up and down with the wave height. We're still working on the sound effects as well. So we can go in and out of the water pretty easily. Some of this still needs adjusted a little bit, because like this one here, where the water's fairly deep, you shouldn't be able to come in and out of. But we're still able to. We also added in the water ripples, so when you're in shallow water, you'll be able to see the ripple effect that's going on underneath, as well as the day and night system, which I believe is about 15 minutes for a night and 30 minutes for the day. So a decently long chunk of time. We've also been working on the skybox, so we now have some auroras that you're able to see, and the moon. We're working on boats. However, the boat right now doesn't look all that bad when it's sitting here floating, but the moment we interact with it, I think it's mad. We should be able to go up on top of it, but we're still working on that. So the next system that we have set up is the factions. So as you can see, I can click on this and it will change the text here. And then we also have towns, which their text won't change because they're all identical, and factions. So when you use the alignment system, what will happen is you'll speak to an NPC, and then a struct will automatically go through and it will place the NPC into an array inside your player character. And if it's not already discovered, then it will place them in order of alphabetical into here. And then it will also check whether or not you have the town already discovered. And if you don't have the town discovered, it'll add it in. If you have the faction discovered, if you don't have it, it'll add it in. And these are how the buttons are going to look in the end. They'll have that little outline around them. And these are just my debug, so I can make sure that everything's working. None of the sound effects are added in yet. So it's getting a lot better. We can also now open and close the menu simply by pressing L. And we can also open and close our menu by pressing either Tab or I. Escape brings us to the quit menu. So what I'm going to implement later, of course, will be... Oh, hold on. Let's go back real quick. Add some items. When you pick up this, it'll highlight which slots you're able to place these in. So you'll know which one you're placing into which on the polish pass, instead of it just being a random, here you go, figure it out. We're also going to replace this background right here with a render target of your player character. So some of these icons may move around a little bit to try to match that. So if I pick up this, then this spot would light up, so that way I know that I can place it here. We're also going to get some of these ones right here, which I used as a debug, so that way you know the boots go into this space, cape goes into this space, unless there's something already in it. And we also fixed the saving and bloating bug, so as you can see, we've changed some of our equipment. We can now save and go back to the title screen, and our player character will stay the same. So we'll put a few more pieces of equipment on. These are just debug equipment. Just throw the whole thing on. Alright, so as you can see, we've now reached a completely different point. Save. Oops. Go back to the main menu. We'll load. And our player character now continues to have exactly what he's supposed to be wearing, instead of switching to other things. And it also works off of this. We can take all of these off. And we have a bug where it takes our head off, apparently. But it will save and load. So that is now all working. It's slowly getting fixed to where it works perfectly, but it's a lot better than it was. At least it's not randomly deciding that we're going to hang on to everything instead of nothing. Alrighty. And then I also talked to a few people who were wanting to see some of the code, so we'll go ahead and show off the swimming system a little bit and how we have it programmed. A little bit messy, but it's been cleaned up a lot. So, heroes. Alrighty, so we'll go down here. So we are actually using two functions. I'm using a simple sphere collision right here. And then what it does is on begin component overlap, we're going to cast it to the landscape, make sure that we're not falling through the landscape. And if we are, then we're going to stop swimming. Then we cast it to the water body, promote the water body to a variable. We activate our start swimming, which what the start swimming does is it gets the actor's rotation, their up vector, and launches the character a little bit. And then we get the character movement component, we get the physics volume, we return that with a boolean for water volume. Then we check mark is swimming. We change the character movement mode to swimming. We get all actors of class for the fluid simulation. This is so we can promote that to a variable. And then this do once gate is tied to stop swimming. So only one time will it add an impulse, which we're still working on getting that to look good, to the water, so that way we can make a sort of splash effect. And then afterwards, we're going to play a sound at the location. Right now, it's just a splash. We're going to set the player to the water surface. This is so that way when you hit the water, you don't fall through. And then we're going to clear all accumulated forces. And setting to the water surface, we're just checking, are they swimming? Yes. Okay. Get the buoyancy info. We're going to take out the water surface position. We're going to break that. And then we're going to subtract that from the player's Z location. And we're going to adjust the height of swim. And we're going to add that as movement input. And then we're going to pulse the water. But we decided to pull the pulse on the water out because it doesn't work very well. So that's still being worked on. And then for stop swimming, we're going to check whether or not that component is no longer connected by casting it to the water body. If it's valid, we're going to do a line trace by channel by getting the player's location against the swim collision, which the swim collision is just a negative on our Z value, so that way the line trace drops down. And if it connects with either a landscape streaming proxy or landscape, this way if it's an open world or a level, it will pick up on the landscape. Then we're going to stop swimming. And for stop swimming, all it is a sequence. We're going to get the character movement component, get the physics volume, tell it it doesn't have a water volume. We're going to set the swimming to false, get the character movement component, set them to falling. And then we're going to reset our do once gate up here for the splash. And then event tick is set to the water surface. This will check to make sure that the player is swimming. And if they are, once again, we're going to set it to the water surface, so that way while you're in idle, it will continue staying on the surface of the water. And then on our move, over here is the last little bit. We're going to check, is the player swimming? Okay. We're going to get the water surface just like we did. Except this time we're going to adjust our height of swim. We're going to add these two together for the Z. So we're just getting the flat out water surface, adding our adjusting the height of swim, so that way everything on the animation looks good. Making a new vector, doing a line trace to make sure that we are no longer on land. And if we hit something, then we're going to set the actor's location if we don't. And then we also have a swim sound effect. This has been replaced and worked into the animation itself. But just in case anybody was wondering, it's not a very complicated swimming system. It works fairly well for what it is. I think the amplitude here is a little bit higher, so you'll be able to see the swimming a little bit better. Yep, it is. Our buggy boat. This water is not optimized at all and working the way that it's supposed to. But it'll at least show you that we're moving with the waves. So as you can see, we move up when the wave comes, we move down. And we stay bound to the water surface. This is the edge of the water streaming in this one, so it gives you a good visual of actually moving with the water. But other than that, thank you, and we don't really have much else to showcase in this one. Alrighty.